Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-bum, the Vegan Veggiebond Discussion. What's up, guys? Vegan Veggiebond here. Out in the south of Spain. Did a little bit of a hike today. It's Sunday, taking a day off. And I'm gonna make a little discussion video here in a second about some things, but first off, I gotta find a way up there. But as you can see, these are fantastic. Tons of clouds. Just kidding. It's gorgeous. Be back in a second. All right, made it to the top. My Spanish host dad recently took me climbing and taught me kind of how to do the damn thing. So I'm a total pro now. I'm actually really not that good, but it is discussion time. All right, so a friend of mine the other day when I was traveling through England, she asked me if I would raise my kids as vegan in the society we live in today. And this got me really, really interested. And my answer was, of course, no questions about it. And we kind of got into a discussion about what it means to be vegan and you know, why people do it. And she thought that it was unfair to bring a child into the world of veganism. I'm gonna sit down. I don't know why I'm doing this weird pacing thing at the top. She said that, you know, there would be a chance of them getting, you know, bullied, that it would be unfair to make that decision for them. And I agree it would be a difficult, maybe upbringing, but kids get bullied for a lot of things. I was bullied my whole life and I wasn't vegan. And I think probably you know, that can be passed down to a child, but you know, maybe they'll get made fun of for being vegan instead of being a nerd or something, and they can be like, shit man, I love animals. I don't think the majority of 7-year-olds will have that kind of confidence, but that's okay. You know, we're not doing it for ourselves. We're not doing it for our own health often. A lot of people do switch over to vegan diets for health, but a lot of people do it from an ethical perspective. And I think that if you can pass that on to your children, I think that's a beautiful thing. Because if you had asked me when I was 5 years old, if you had asked me if I wanted to eat animals for energy as opposed to plants, you know, I would have said, no, I really like animals. You know, I mean, like, I remember, you know, we used to go play with, you know, ride horses and stuff like that. And it was magic when you were a child. You had these amazing creatures and no one ever told you what you were eating. No, and if someone had, like, if, you know, if I'd have seen Earthlings at age 7, my life would have been pretty fucked up, to be honest. But I would have said, why? What do you mean? Like, you know, it's hard to watch Babe and then Earthlings in session. Like, it's, Babe is a beautiful movie. Think about Babe. Go watch Babe if you haven't watched Babe. Babe's a rock star film. But if you know, we watch all these films glorifying animals. We watch Nemo, Finding Nemo, and yet we're torturing our oceans and pulling trillions every year. Trillions. Think about that number. Trillions of fish out of them. So I think that if you'd asked me as a child if I wanted to be vegan, I would have said absolutely. If you'd have taken me to an industrial dairy farm, I would have said, I'm not eating this. Wait, there's alternatives? There's alternatives and you're still doing this? Fuck yeah, let's get some soy milk. Children are vegan. I really believe that. I believe the average 3-year-old's not interested in eating an animal. And I think you can prove that because if you know, have a kid ride a cow, they're not going to start chomping down on its hindquarters for numerous reasons. But number one, because they're not carnivores. You do that with a 2-year-old cheetah, it's going to be a different story. Cheetahs don't ride cows very often, but it is possible, I guess. And the other thing is that, you know, if you're raising your children as a vegan, think about you know, you're giving them a head start in life. I realize that sounds obnoxious and pretentious, but you are. If you look at the percentages of obesity among plant-based eaters, if you look at the chance that a child will go on to develop hypertension, have high cholesterol issues if they continue with a plant-based diet, it's almost negated. Like, if you from a health perspective, and health is a huge part of life. You know, until we're hooked up to machines as robots and live in that style, your body's all you got, man. If you're living in terrible health, that's all you have. Like, that's all there is. And I know that because I used to be in pain all the time and crazy things. It's like, that will take you down to the worst level of humanity where you're just depressed and it's dark. If you can start your children on that path of life from a body perspective and a health and consciousness, you're doing the world, your child, your family, you're doing animals and the environment a massive favor. Two things, just to let you know, I'm fired up right now, fired up. Two things, reading How Not to Die by Gregor right now. Gregor, you're the man, love you, you're so funny. Number two, and this one is less fun, the family and I just found out that about 20 kilometers from here, this is a village of about 7,000 people, and 20 kilometers from here, they are going to start an 80,000 pig factory farm. Now, that's depressing for a lot of reasons, but that means that every year and a half here in this very small region, in a very small part of Spain, 80,000 pigs will die. In this one farm, that doesn't touch the rest of the country, that doesn't touch the rest of the continent, the globe, nothing like that. In this one tiny, tiny, tiny location, we will lose 80,000 lives of very smart animals who have gone up against the intelligence of dogs and 3-year-old humans and all of these things, and we will lose them every single year. That's very frustrating. The other really, really, really frustrating part is that this is a very, very droughted area. You can tell by where I am, you can tell by the landscape. All of those are almond trees down there that have to be irrigated. This is dry country, and they now have 80,000 pigs every single day going to be drinking water, going to be using water for other purposes, I suppose. I don't know, maybe even just drinking. Let's assume that a pig drinks, I don't know, a quarter of what a human does a day. Is that fair? They weigh about the same as us. They might drink the same amount. So let's say, you know, they need to get their 8 glasses. Let's say it's 2 glasses. That now means that you have the equivalent of 20,000 people from drinking water perspective living in that area now. You just created a town 3 times larger than the size of the one I'm currently living in. You just pop that up out of nowhere because people want to eat these products. That's fucking madness. Like, you can't be doing that in a place that is suffering from drought. Like, the money and the people behind this are not good. They are not looking after anything. They don't care about your health. They don't care about the environment. This is purely profit in the most disgusting way, and it's one of the worst things we've ever done. Like, I know it's easy to see that, and I'm not calling, you know, whoever is watching this, I'm not calling you out. I did the same thing for 25 years, quarter fucking century, and it's something, you know, every day I regret, and that loops us back to the child question. If I could have been raised vegan, holy shit, man, I would have killed for that. Are you kidding me? From that perspective, if I had been vegan, let's say 25 years, they say the average meat eater consumes 30 to 200 animals a year. So 25 years, let's say the 30 number is what we're at. You know, right there, that's 650 animals in 25 years that wouldn't have died because of me. Let's multiply that by the top range, 200, and now we're talking about, you know, 5,000 animals. That's an insane amount of death just so that I could survive. One human, I'm not worth that much. Like, I'm not. I think if you consider yourself to be worth hundreds of thousands or, you know, thousands of other lives when there are alternative ways to grow, I think that's terrible, and that was something I was doing my whole life. Probably unknowingly, but all of us know a little bit. Do your own research. Do your own research. If you don't believe me, that's fine. Look into the health consequences of losing antibiotic stabilization on this planet for human beings, and look at the fact that 80% of antibiotics go towards the meat industry. That's crazy. That's not good. And I don't think there's a way to spin it where that looks good at all. And it, you know, it's going to get to the point where we're going to be like it was 200 years ago, 500 years ago, you know, the entirety of human history up until very recently, where if, you know, a child got a cut on his leg, he could die. That's what this is going to become to if we create complete antibiotic resistance, and a large portion of that is from animal agriculture. And I was supposed to end on a happy note, son of a bitch. Here we go. Vegan Veggiebond. Have an awesome day. One last thing before I go is if you have any comments, questions, need advice, then Google it. Just kidding. Leave them below. I'd love to, you know, discuss and talk and debate and be respectful and kind and hear what you have to say. Thank you.